figures in 9 of Notre Dame's 11 games. In the 2 games that she hasn't, Notre Dame has lost.
That includes the first meeting between these two teams in Chestnut Hill. Westbeld held to single digits, 8 points in that one. So the Irish starting things off, coming off a win on Thursday against Wake Forest, 79-72. Darren Mabry, 6 on the shot clock for the Irish. Tried to dish it off to Michaela Vaughn. Did get the shot off in time. Peoples the rebound, but the putback won't go. Starting 5 for the Boston College Eagles: Cameron Swartz, Michaela Dickens, Marnell Durad, Taylor Soule, their leader, and Clara Ford on the inside.
Boston College going up against this Notre Dame zone. They were very effective, especially in that 4th quarter versus the zone. Coach Mack says we have to attack the middle of the zone, right around that ACC logo, but you have to make good passes when you're trying to attack the paint there, Jen.
Yeah, tough one there for Soule to try to hang on to. There you see your starting 5 for the Irish: Mabry, Abry-Prohaska, Peoples, Westbeld, and Vaughn.
We think of Notre Dame as one of the younger teams in the league, and they are, but only 1 freshman starts for Notre Dame in Maddie Westbeld. And then you've got a transfer in Darren Mabry, who's a junior, a senior Michaela Vaughn, a junior Prohaska. So they do have an older starting lineup compared to the overall youth on their roster.
Yeah, and you think about Westbeld, I mean, you can hardly think of her as a freshman because she just doesn't show any fear, as you said, to start off this broadcast, and has had such a tremendous season already, leading all ACC freshmen in scoring. Also top 5 in rebounding amongst freshmen.
She's leading Notre Dame in scoring, and it's very rare. Prohaska with a nice mid-range there to get Notre Dame on the board, but it's very rare for any school. It's rare at Notre Dame. Think of the tradition that Notre Dame has to be led in scoring by a true freshman, but that's what Maddie Westbeld is doing.
Dickens launches the 3, hits it. She didn't hit any in the first meeting in the first half, but had 15 and was a big part of that comeback. Those 15 all in the second half in the comeback win for the Eagles against the Irish 10 days ago.
Michaela Dickens is one of the better 3-point shooters in the ACC. When she is cold, BC struggles. And to your point, Jen, when she heats up, BC plays so much better, like she did in the second half against Notre Dame. She was a big part of their comeback.
Westbeld has her first points of the game, and that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch. She was going against Taylor Soule, a player who knows she must stay on the floor for Boston College to have a chance and stay out of foul trouble. Good offensive rebound there from Cameron Swartz. Coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee, the reigning ACC Coach of the Year. And talking about Swartz, who just had that offensive rebound, Coach Burnaby-McNamee told us this week she feels she's coming off her best game. It was 17 points in that loss at second-ranked Louisville on Thursday, Kelly. But she said it was her best heady game for Swartz.
Cam Swartz can score the ball. She is Boston College's second leading scorer behind Taylor Soule. And I think the big issue for Swartz so far has been shot selection, just learning which shots are the best shots for her. But Coach Mack says she's really improved, and she did a great job in picking the right shots against Louisville, where she had 17 points in that game, as you said, Jen.
All right, some key subs in for both teams. There's Sam Brunell wearing that face mask. Looks like she's gotten a little more used to it now. It's her second game wearing the mask after she was injured in the game against Boston College 10 days ago by her own teammate, Destinee Walker. Walker also on the floor. And guess who else is on the floor for Boston College? The super freshman you've been talking about, Allie Van Timmeren, hit her first shot. First-year head coach Niele Ivey for the Irish. Certainly a long, storied history as a part of this Notre Dame program, both as a player and as an assistant coach.
If you notice there, Jen, she held her hand up to fix her mask. Coach Ivey wearing one of the national championship rings today. Not sure which one, but that's always a nice flex. It's kind of like your Emmy behind you. You have the national championship ring on. It says a little something on the sideline.
That it does, that it does. And Dickens is letting her shooting do the talking early here for Boston College. A good start for the Eagles.
very good start for BC. BC can get a lot of their energy from how they shoot the three. They shoot a lot of threes. They took 29 threes in this last matchup 10 days ago. And if they hit early, then they start to have confidence. Their shooters start to feel it. They can shoot threes in transition. It really sets the tone for them offensively. So this is not what Notre Dame wants, to let BC get going early as Cam Swartz. That's what I'm talking about. It becomes contagious for these shooters. Boston College off to a hot start.
And Swartz adds to the three-point party. The Eagles have made their last 3 straight, and they are a perfect 3 of 3 from downtown. Meanwhile, on this end, Kelly, what do you see? Because Notre Dame has gotten really deep into that shot clock their first few possessions.
They have, and their Westbeld, quick three, didn't get as deep into the shot clock, and she knocks it down. That's what Maddie Westbeld can do. But they went from playing Wake Forest, who plays a zone, to this game, BC's going to play a lot of man. I think you're still seeing that adjustment for Notre Dame. And right here, this is really the first time they've been able to get out in transition. Notre Dame loves to run, and they love to get out in transition. It's a big part of what they do offensively.
Well, we have a 2-point game here from Notre Dame.
Their moves, and I know that is a big concern for Coach Mack today. Can Boston College guard the bigs? You look at their numbers in that big win over Wake Forest. Michaela Vaughn was super efficient, 7 of 9 from the field. She added 14. Westbeld and Vaughn, 39 of Notre Dame's 42 paint points against the Deeps.
Yeah, and that is an area, you said it, Boston College has struggled to defend. They are a smaller team to begin with. They've been a bit thin due to some injuries. Akuna Okonkwo still out for the Eagles. They were down without Clara Ford, at least at full health, for a little while. And Peoples has been really active here these last couple possessions for Notre Dame.
Peoples has gotten out of the passing lane. She's getting deflections, and she's really been the one Irish player that's been able to get out in transition. And that was a tough finish. I think she was actually trying to pass that ball, but credit to her to finish through contact. And here's what I mean as she gets in the passing lane. I think she's looking at her teammate, right? She sees Destinee Walker coming. She thought about it, and then she made the right decision to keep it herself and powered up through contact. That's a smart play by the sophomore in transition.
And Peoples, the possession before that, had missed the free throw and went and got her own offensive rebound off the free throw. Nobody boxed out the free throw shooter, Kelly. That's a problem if you're Boston College.
That's rule number 1. And one thing to watch with Peoples, she's such a great player. It is a little baffling. She shoots 45% from the free throw line. I don't know what that is. So yeah, she does so many things well, but she is a player that you really don't mind sending to the line if you're BC.
That's a great point. 48% from the floor and 45% from the free throw line.
You don't see that very often.
No. Brunel did not get that off in time, so it'll be a turnover, shot clock violation.
You notice Sam Brunel playing with that face mask, and of course in the world of COVID we have to clarify the nose mask, I guess, is more of what it's called. But she suffered a nose injury versus Boston College 10 days ago in that game. She did not break it, but she is playing through it and having to wear that protection. I never had to wear one of those masks, Jen, but one of my teammates did. And I remember how much she struggled with it and how it was hard to keep your vision and to play through that when you just haven't played with a mask before. And that time, I think the mask may have protected her. There may have been a little bit of a hand-to-the-face action. So you got to wear it for protection, but just know it is as uncomfortable as it looks.
They were just going back, it looked like, to make sure to see if Brunel did indeed get that shot off before the buzzer sounded. She did not, as it was called on the floor. Dara Mabry, the transfer from Virginia Tech in her first year with the Fighting Irish, and what a job she has done. She's running the point, but boy, is she shooting the three-pointer well, too.
She is one of the best shooters in the ACC.
Oh,
well, as is Dickens.
Watch out.
Wow.
Watch out, Kelly. This is your type of game. Shooters getting hot. That's the third triple for Dickens.
You love to see it. And Notre Dame right now, Nia Lively is thinking deja vu, right? Because Gina Conti hit 8 threes in this building just a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was a win for Notre Dame, but what a performance by Conti. believe she got your game ball on ladies' night that night, did she not, Kelly?
Jen, if you hit 8 threes, you get my game ball. Even if you play in some other league, you probably are going to get my game ball because that's impressive. So Michaela Dickens is on her way.
There's our two freshmen going head-to-head right there. Van Timmeren had it blocked out of bounds by Westbeld.
Excellent pass by Van Timmeren. It just shows, and of course Dickens with the knockdown, it shows how far above her age Van Timmeren is. Very few posts when they're that young. Normally when they pass the ball back out of the post, they're going to pass it to the strong side. They're just going to make the easy pass back out. But she pivots, she looks across court, and finds an open look for one of the best shooters in the ACC.
Offensive rebound goes to one of the smallest players on the floor, 5'8", Kayla Ivey. Back inside it goes. Good inside-outside movement from the Eagles, but they could not get it to their leading scorer, Taylor Soule. She's still scoreless, but a turnover will give the Eagles another chance. How about that one-handed pass from Van Timmeren? Dickens, though, she was too close that time, I think, Kelly.
Van Timmeren can pass the ball. That was a great one-handed, left-handed pass. I know she is a lefty. I'm impressed with that. And Notre Dame just getting a little sloppy in transition. They were very active in their zone, but there is an excellent pass by Prohaska. And a great finish by Brunel. I love what Abby Prohaska brings to Notre Dame. She's a glue player in every sense of the word. She's one of those stat sheet stuffers. She had 8 points, 7 assists, 5 boards against Wake. She can do it all. She's a good leader. She's a great communicator, and she really is a great passer.
And Prohaska, certainly, I think she's always relished her time on the court, but maybe even more so after she was forced to sit all of last season with bilateral pulmonary embolism, blood clot in her lungs. So a little scary situation, but she had to be precautious, take care of that. She did. And you're right, she's one of those scrappy players that you notice. And it's not because she's scoring a ton of points, it's all the other stuff she does.
Right, and Notre Dame always has players like that. They love to have that glue player that may not go out there and give you 25, but can do everything else. And I also think Prohaska, with her experience, you know, she was on those national championship team and she was on the runner-up team, so she has seen it, she's been there, she's experienced what it's like to go make a Final Four, and she can, that kind of experience can really help this young team because Prohaska knows, and so does Michaela Vaughn. They've seen what it takes.
Yeah. Alasia Hayes, part of this youth movement, coming in. Freshman on the floor right now as Mabry's out of the game for Notre Dame. 6 on the shot clock. Brunel trying to find Vaughn, but a bit too deep.
Just 2 seconds on the shot clock here for Notre Dame. They may try to throw it up to Vaughn. They've got to get something quick.
Instead, it's a foul against the Irish.
They called Peoples there, I believe, pushing in the back as she was trying to get free there. Oh, the hand to the face. I think that's what they got her for in the lane.
So Peoples, at the moment, will take a seat. Just her first personal. Been a good first quarter so far for both teams. Boston College shooting the ball well and really doing it without Taylor Soule. She does have a couple of points. She has the ball now. One up and over Brunel. Finish.
Part of what creates those open looks, though, is the attention that Taylor Soule attracts inside. You have to always know where she is, and that's enabled some of these BC shooters to get open looks beyond the arc. Great defense by BC. They've been so active on the ball, so active in passing lanes. They have made it very hard for Notre Dame to get clean looks.
Nothing easy for Notre Dame on the offensive end, but we have seen some got some fans here. In fact, 36 tickets went to family, friends, high school teammates. Her mom and dad, Brad and Susan, are in the stands cheering her on. And we've talked about it a couple of times that she just turned 18, Kelly. She joined Boston College the day after Christmas after graduating early. Should be playing high school basketball her senior season for her dad, right now for the Jenison Wildcats in Michigan. But instead, making a difference with the Boston College Eagles.
Such a cool story. And like you said, Jen, it truly is one of the most remarkable stories in the ACC. It's a unique situation that we get because of COVID. So Van Timmeren will get this year back. So she doesn't really have to redshirt. She can just play. And like we said, she just got to Boston College on December 26th. Probably had some Christmas celebrations cut short and everything. So very cool to see her family and friends. 36 people. Her whole squad is here in Purcell Pavilion, and what a cool thing to see.
That is really cool. And I know her mom and dad, not that I was stalking on Twitter, but I was, were at Louisville as well when Van Timmeren had her career-high 17 points in that game against one of the best teams in the country.
Show up to campus, 3 weeks ago, score 17 against the #2 team in the country. It's all very normal. Happens all the time, right?
Right. Getting a little rest right now. Clara Ford, who started the game, the 6'3" junior, back on the floor for the Eagles. Good active hands there by Mabry, who tapped it away over to Destinee Walker, one of the super subs for the Irish coming off the bench.
Notre Dame has had their chances because of their defense to get out in transition, and they've not been able to convert. That's what gets Notre Dame going. For Boston College, it's the 3, and it's obvious that with how well BC has shot the ball 4 for 6 from 3, they are feeling good, and Michaela Dickens is feeling good. For Notre Dame, what gets them going is the transition game, and they have not been able to convert. I also think BC has done a great job of getting back in transition and picking up the ball right away when Notre Dame gets out on the break.
Largest lead of the game now for Boston College as Notre Dame has gone over 3 minutes without a point. Mabry trying to change that, does.
Dara Mabry can shoot the lights out. She is shooting 55% from 3 in ACC play. And my main question with Mabry is, I don't understand why she doesn't shoot it more. I would be looking for Mabry as much as possible to get her open looks because she's lights out. 55% is unbelievable in Notre Dame's 7 ACC games so far.
Do you think, Kelly, some of that is maybe because, yes, she has this at her disposal as Dickens hits on the other end her first 2-pointer of the game, or her second 2-pointer, excuse me. So Dara can do this, Kelly, but she's also trying to figure out how to run the offense, maybe not her natural position there at the point.
She is, and we talked with Coach Ivey about this because I love Coach Ivey's strategy here. I am a huge fan of three-point shooting, as you know, Jen, but I don't think you just need to chuck threes just to chuck threes, to put up 30, 35 attempts per game. Notre Dame only averages 15 three-point attempts per game. That is pretty low considering where the game is. So what Notre Dame does is they take good shots. That's why they're shooting 38% from 3 on the year and up near 44% from 3 in ACC play. So they take really good shots, but the shooter in me sees Dara Mabry and says, she is shooting over 50%. We got to get her the basketball. So I'm not saying take bad shots. I'm just saying look for your shot as much as you can if you're Mabry.
Yeah, I hear you. I was just checking on the shot clock there, by the way. That's what that delay was. Our officials trying to make sure they had the right time on the shot clock. Traveled that time by Van Timmeren as she came back into the game. Peoples pulls up. Vaughn, the offensive rebound and put back.
Look at Michaela Vaughn battling inside. We talk about her being a senior on this team and being a leader. 3 straight games with 10 or more points for her. Had a great game against Wake. She seems to have gotten her footing back after the ACL injury and with a massive block there in the paint as well.
Yeah, she's coming off her career high tying 4 blocks in the last game. A good reach.
Not today. Not in my house. That's what Michaela Vaughn says right there.
Soul turns and faces the basket.
For Soul. Soul's giving up 4 inches to Michaela Vaughn. So Vaughn, she held strong, did not foul, moved her feet, used her length. It's definitely a tough matchup for Taylor Soul. Soul was very good against Notre Dame 10 days ago. But Michaela Vaughn, when she gets a one-on-one with Vaughn, it's tough. But there's Taylor Soule finding the openings in that baseline out of bounds. Vaughn wasn't even ready, and that's a very cerebral play from Soule, and a good job by the inbounder.
Yeah, good way to get your star performer going. Call something for her on the inbounds, and Soule delivered. 4 points in the game now. Vaughn on this end, good.
That's where I would worry if I'm Coach Mack. BC was trapping a little bit there in their man-to-man. BC was great in the first quarter with their perimeter defense and getting all over the ball handler. But if Notre Dame's able to pass out of it, they have such good post players. That's a little bit of a concern. I'm not sure how much BC wants to press and pressure up top because Notre Dame can finish and get the ball inside to their bigs. Such a great job by Soule here. Getting behind Destinee Walker. Vaughn didn't even see her. That's a heads-up play. And then here you see BC's applying that pressure. And so because that defense was extended for the Eagles, it was an easy find for Notre Dame to get Vaughn the ball near the hoop.
Jalen bats into the game for the Eagles. Her shot won't fall. Westbeld calling for it, has the mismatch.
Excuse me there, Jen. Westbeld getting going, but BC just 4 points in this quarter. They've gotten a little cold. They hit so many threes in that first quarter, hit 4, but have yet to knock down a 3 in the second.
7-0 run by the Irish to take the lead. And a steal. Mabry tapped it away. Trying to get the finish, and does.
Huge play for Dara Mabry. Active up top, getting her hands on passes. She gets out in transition. We mentioned Notre Dame was not capitalizing in transition. Well, Dara Mabry's trying to change that as she finishes with the and one, and the emotion from the junior. That'll get her team going.
Now, we've seen 3 Mabrys come through Notre Dame, Kelly, and I think emotion goes hand in hand along with three-point shooting with that last name, does it not?
Oh, it does. 678, I think 679 with Dara's knockdown today. 679 threes between 3 sisters in D1 basketball. It's incredible. And think of this too, Dara, is the youngest. So she might even be more fiery than the other 2 just because she's had to scrap and claw her whole life with playing against bigger sisters.
Yeah. Marina and Michaela, both great careers with the Irish. And of course, we have more than one Mabry, as Michaela still a member of the staff as well.
That has to be such an interesting dynamic. Older sister coaching younger sister. They seem to make it work quite well at Notre Dame.
Touch, not quite the right finesse for Dickens, but an offensive rebound for Swartz.
We've talked about shot selection with Swartz. I think in that situation, that was not the best shot that BC could have gotten. Get that offensive rebound, bring the ball back up top, set up some action, see if you can get a better look than a long 2.
Good look for Soule running the floor. And she will try to go to the free throw line and add another. Taylor Soule may need a moment, but at the moment has her team within 2.
Such a great finisher around the basket. We saw it earlier when she got behind the defense against the zone, and then that time in transition, finishing through a lot of contact, and then trying to get in there to get her own offensive board.
Yeah. Mabry on the other end, got the friendly roll.
That's a friendly roll from touchdown Jesus himself, Jen. That ball was hanging on the rim. How did that ball go in? Great finish by Dara Mabry, up and under. Good presence of mind to go up and under to the right. She was a little too far under the basket, I think, to go up with her left.
8 points in the game so far for Mabry to lead Notre Dame, make it 9, and she was perfect. Perfect from the floor, 3 of 3. Perfect from the free throw line, 2 of 2.
She has been the catalyst for them in this second half. Notre Dame right now, a 15-6 advantage over the Eagles in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's a great point. All of those points for Mabry have come in the second quarter. Now another turnover. Walker had Mabry, took it herself, why not? points. They've made 6 of their last 7. They have their largest lead. So what do you think was said in that Boston College timeout?
Take care of the basketball. BC's biggest issue has been trying to force the ball to the high post. That time they run some screening action. They're not even having someone flash to the high post right now because Coach Mack just doesn't trust them at this moment to make that pass.
Shot up and good from the corner. That was Ivy knocking it down. Her first points.
When you take care of the ball, it's much easier to get a good look when you're able to run your offense. Great execution by Boston College out of the timeout. That's what you want to see if you're Coach Mack. Call a timeout, draw something up, knock down a three.
Peoples wide open on the baseline and gets 2 points for it.
Peoples just sneaking behind the defense into that short corner area. Very smart play.
A little bit of mishandling here by the Eagles. Your advice was take care of the ball. Having some trouble with that at the moment. And now it is Mabry all alone to add to her second quarter point total, make it 11.
This game has completely swung because of one thing. Boston College's turnovers. Notre Dame right now has 13 points off of turnovers and 13 fast break points. It's the same. Those numbers are the exact same. Every single time BC turns it over, Notre Dame runs and they score.
Want to tell you about Nothing But Net every day. It's our weekly men's basketball studio show where they'll preview the week, look back at the best games from the previous week with highlights, analysis, and insight that only we can provide. This week's show is at 8 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Excited to watch Coach McGraw on that show tonight.
Yeah, she get a little cameos in there as well. Walker working the baseline.
What a take. So athletic from Destinee Walker. Pump fake, one dribble, elevate. She kind of floated in the air for a little bit. Excellent finish.
Lead double digits now for Notre Dame. Van Timmeren gets inside.
You just don't see true freshmen, besides Maddie Westbeld, of course, but true freshmen who just showed up that are able to finish like that. One dribble, finish through contact. Don't get scared. Don't get worried about the footsteps behind you. I'm very impressed with Van Timmeren.
6 points for Vaughn all in this quarter. So Vaughn and Mabry, a little slow to get started perhaps, but they're leading the charge for the Irish in quarter number 2. Wide open. Boy, that's been there for both teams, hasn't it? This time it's Bats and Boston College.
It has. Getting behind the defense. We haven't exactly seen excellent defense in the second quarter. I thought BC was very good defensively in the first quarter, but that fatigue is starting to hit them. They have a very short bench. You can see that coming to fruition in the second quarter.
Irish had made 6 straight baskets before that possession, and Bats is there again. That's not going to make Neil Ivey very happy to have a wide open look in back-to-back possessions.
That was almost identical.
Week, so yes, both of those teams from the Commonwealth ascending. Well, Bats just a 50% free throw shooter. Hasn't been there all that often. Was 6 of 12 coming into the game. She wills both of those into the basket and gets some much needed points for the Eagles, who have really ceded this quarter to the Irish.
When BC can set up their half-court defense, they've been very aggressive and very good on the perimeter. What's been the issue for BC is letting Notre Dame get out and run. But half-court-wise, BC has been pretty darn good defensively.
3 Notre Dame players around Taylor Soule. She kicks it out to Swartz. That did hit net, but it didn't go through the cylinder first.
We talked about Notre Dame with 42 points in the paint against Wake Forest. The Irish already have 26 points in the paint so far in this game, and we're not even at halftime.
That's been a problem for Boston College. They have allowed over 40 points in the paint to their opponents in their losses on the season. Final seconds of the first half ticking away. The ball to Westbeld, and it's good.
Beautiful two-man, two-woman game, and a great finish by Westbeld.
A little bit unleashed now, right? Just being able to come into the third quarter with no fouls. So at least she doesn't have that hanging over her head as we do get underway from Purcell Pavilion in quarter number 3. Jen Hildreth, former Clemson sharpshooter Kelly Gramlich on the call. Happy to have you with us. Prohaska trying to feed Vaughn on the first possession of the half for the Irish.
Clara Ford did a good job there, fronting the post in the high post to make that pass very, very difficult. So Prohaska got the ball at the high post. You want to front. If you just stay behind Vaughn, she's going to score on you. So I think that's got to be the key for BC. Front and force them to make a bad pass.
Welcome into the scoring. Marnell Girard, no points for the junior in the first half, but she drains a 3, continuing what has been very good shooting from deep so far for the Eagles. 6 of 11 in the game. More points, though, for Peoples and Notre Dame.
That is a tough situation. We talk about fronting Vaughn. I still think that's a plan there. But what Notre Dame does often, which I think is very unique, is they post up Peoples. So Peoples is a guard, but she has good size at 5'10". When she's posting up Cam Swartz or others, it's very hard for that BC guard to defend Peoples inside.
5 on the shot clock for the Eagles after that pass was batted away. Girard will try another one. Got it just before the shot clock buzzer.
Marnell Girard, 11 points last time these two played, and she has come alive so far in this third quarter. BC now 7 for 12 from beyond the arc in the game.
Takeaway from Seoul, but the fast break broken up. Good transition defense there as Notre Dame got back.
Notre Dame has gone to the high-low every possession until now. And, of course, they get a backdoor there. But Boston College, they have to find a way to defend that high-low. Whether it's being more aggressive at the high post on the passer, whether it's doubling down low, you can't let Notre Dame continue to just run the high-low to perfection. They've got to find a way to put up more of a fight against that.
Well, you talked about points in the paint. 20 of Notre Dame's 27 points in the second quarter came in the paint. And they worked that high-low, as you said, very well. Travel will take that 3, but Girard has already hit a couple of them.
She has caught fire early in this third quarter. Knocks down a 3 from the left wing. And then Notre Dame, excellent ball movement. Great cut by Peoples. Peoples with 4 early points here in the third quarter as well.
Yeah, 9 points in the game for Anea. She averages just over 10 per game, was a member of the All-ACC freshman team a year ago. Walker stepped it back.
That's not exactly Destinee Walker's game. She does average 12 points per game and was their leading scorer last year, but she's only shooting 36% from 3. That's good on a normal team, but with how Notre Dame shoots it, Mabry, Westbeld, and Brunel all above 40%. If Notre Dame's only going to take 10 threes or so per game, they've only taken 4 so far today. I'd rather see a Mabry Brunel take that 3 instead of Walker.
Yeah, I know you were really praising their shot selection, even though you might like to see the volume a little higher from 3. But
that's just me, Jen. You know, Coach Ivy is going to do what she thinks is best, and she is way more qualified than me to make these decisions. When you can run the high-low like that, why would you shoot threes? Why would you shoot it? That's so easy. Boston College, I think they have to start trying to double down low because there wasn't even help side first and foremost on that play. You've got to have help side, and then I think you need to double with that help side, because Notre Dame is just getting easy points in the paint.
Seoul. Peoples ready to run, runs into Seoul. That's a brave set up there, and it is an offensive foul.
Cam Swartz needs to be in the lane. She needs to be in the lane. She's completely out of the lane. There's absolutely no help side. Swartz was number 1 on the right. You cannot afford to not be in position defensively when Notre Dame's running their high-low. You need to have help defense inside. And that time, it's not just Swartz, it's everyone for BC. Help defense was nowhere to be found.
Van Timmeren and Batts come off the bench for Boston College. Now here comes Van Timmeren, a ton of family and high school teammates and friends in the stands. They'll take an assist.
That is such a great pass. That is such a great pass from a freshman. She is so poised when she gets the ball in the high-low around that ACC logo. A lot of players freak out when they get the ball there because all the attention is on you, and you generally will get some pressure right when you catch it, and you have to make such a good pass in the paint. That is excellent from the freshman, and then a good finish from Soule.
Look, I'm sure that Jenison High School in Allendale, Michigan is sad not to have this superstar playing high school ball. Their high school season was canceled, but Boston College sure appreciates her services, and now she has helped, along with some threes from Gerard, get them right back into this.
Gerard has caught fire. 3 threes here in the third quarter. As you said, Jen, BC's right back in it. They're applying a little full court press off of a make. Coach Mack told us she doesn't really want to press, but she likes to throw in a few wrinkles in there, especially off of a make or a made free throw, to throw the opponent off their game.
Got high-low, working its way again. This time it's Westveld to Brunel.
Jen, I don't know what to say. It is too easy. That high-low is too easy. Notre Dame's just going to keep going back to that if BC doesn't change something.
Right. I wanted to make sure that did count. It was more of a medium low that time as Westveld kind of got midway through the paint, but I think we still count it, right?
That is fair. That is a fair point. We can say the medium low game is working well as well for Notre Dame.
Peoples to Brunel. She's one of those shooters with a wonderful percentage coming off the bench. 44% for Brunel from 3 this season. Dickens, don't leave her open.
Don't leave. 5 assists so far in this game. She has been passing it so well from the high post position. She had 2 assists that I saw in that package right there. So Soule doing a great job of drawing the defense and finding her open shooters.
Certainly the challenge appears to be on this end for Boston College to try to keep that high-low game at bay, keep Notre Dame out of the paint.
It's really come down to this: 34 points in the paint for Notre Dame, 27 points from beyond the arc for BC. So you're fighting 2s with 3s. I'd rather have the 3s on my side, but Notre Dame has been so efficient down low as well.
5 on the shot clock for Peoples, defended by Soule. Now it's to Walker. Didn't get it off in time. Good defense stand right there by Boston College. So we will stay tied at 49 as we take another quick break from South Bend. It's never before seen footage and interviews. Nobody covers the ACC like we do. Back in action now. Van Timmeren trying to give the Eagles the lead. Boy, that would have been big for the freshman.
It's not a bad shot. Van Timmeren shoots 39% from 3. It was a little quick in the shot clock, but she has that in her arsenal.
Destinee Walker now 6 points in the game, swings the lead back in favor of the Irish. Batts to Van Timmeren. Batts nearly had it back off of her fingertips and out of bounds.
We've talked about Notre Dame scoring in transition. Destinee Walker, jump stop, good decision, maybe even a little contact, and an excellent finish. And now Boston College continuing to apply pressure at selective times. So this is off of a dead ball, applying some full court pressure to see if they can force some turnovers, which they just did. And this is the strategy they employed last time, Jen, when they forced turnovers in that fourth quarter and staged that frantic comeback by pressuring Notre Dame and pressuring their ball handlers.
And you want Marnell Gerard, the player who's trying to pick the pocket. She does it better than anybody in the ACC. Leads the league in steals. Van Timmeren on the inside. Boy, she's taken the last 3 shots for Boston College. Decent looks, but hasn't been able to finish.
And that would have been another assist for Taylor Soule. She already has a career high with 5 assists.
Yeah, you caught those 5, and we dug into it. John Tobias helping us out on stats, confirming that is indeed the best of Taylor Soule's career in terms of helpers.
Taylor Soule has been in help side on this possession. Basically has told Notre Dame, don't make that high-low pass, because Taylor Soule was there. So a very good defensive possession. And now Soule drawing a foul as well.
Yeah, did a little slip and slide after the fact as both she and Destinee Walker both going for the basketball. But she has found a way, Taylor Soule, to be impactful in this game, even without scoring a ton of points. 10 points in the game. She averages 15.5.
10 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, only 1 turnover in 26 minutes. A very complete game so far for Soule. I do think, though, Jen, she's going to have to score the ball a little bit down the stretch for BC to win the game, but overall she's played a great floor game.
And has continued to be aggressive without picking up fouls. Swartz driving to the basket. Boy, there is a lid on the basket right now for the Eagles, or at least there was. Soule finishing it off.
Great hustle by Swartz to keep that play alive, got an offensive board, tipped the ball around, and allowed Soule to score. But Maddie Westbeld, the 6'3" freshman, leading the break, finding Michaela Vaughn. What can't Maddie Westbeld do?
Tell you what, you looked at what would have been a pretty tough shot right there, right, for Westbeld as she was dribbling down the floor. She knew it, she saw it. She says, here you go, Michaela, you finish. That's easier for you. Nice drive that time. As Dickens gets a 2.
This game has been incredibly back and forth. A very fun one so far. If you're just joining us, you're in for a treat in this 4th quarter. We have seen some high-level shot making from both teams.
Tied up again at 53. Mabry on the drive, blocked by Soule, but it is out of bounds. It'll stay with Notre Dame. And they did reset the shot clock.
I think they called a foul there.
A foul.
A foul on Soule.
I'm
not
think
sure
it might actually have been Gerard. It was Gerard. They called it a little earlier in the play. I'm with you on that. And that is actually the 3rd foul on Gerard.
That foul call makes a little more sense to me with Gerard, because Soule got all ball, but Gerard got Mabry with the body.
More basketball coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Wake Forest and Virginia Tech from Blacksburg. You can catch that right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. We've got a player like Gina Conti, who had a career-high 29 points right here, actually, against Notre Dame in a loss in Wake Forest last game. Knocked down 8 threes, going up against that great inside-outside duo for Virginia Tech. Asia Shepard, Elizabeth Kitley. Should be a good one.
Should be a great game. Both teams fighting for, I know it's early, but I'm always thinking NCAA tournament. Both Virginia Tech and Wake on the bubble right now, so a very important game for both squads.
Boston College trying to finish the quarter strong. They'll get the drive, do not get the roll, do get the basketball. 4.2 on the clock.
That's a layup that Boston College should have had, but now 4 seconds. I think Coach Mack is going to bring in T. Soule just for this play, which is very smart. Try to get some sort of lob to Soule in the paint, see if she can get the ball up.
Dickens does lob it up there. Soule put it back, had a chance to tie. It does not go, so Boston.
Than this one has been very back and forth the entire time. The first one, Notre Dame controlled the game until about 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And we should mention this, Jen. The Boston College has won 3 games in a row against Notre Dame. They are the only ACC team to have ever done that. Yeah. There's something about BC. They have Notre Dame's number, and they're trying to make it 4 in a row in this 4th quarter.
Certainly would give this team a little confidence despite the rough start for the Eagles in conference play, just 1-6 so far. Their only win, that win where they came back against Notre Dame.
Great catch by Destinee Walker. That was a tough pass to wrangle and to control, but she did a great job of collecting that pass.
How about that passing? How you like that one for Van Timmeren?
Van Timmeren now 6 points, 4 rebounds. She has been very solid off the bench for the Eagles.
People's calling for it. A lot of defenders around her. Walker, tough shot, somehow got it to go.
I don't know how she got that one to fall. A lot of contact, but strong finish. And now she is in double figures and joins Mabry in double figures.
Soul, a little short. Falls right back to her, though.
Good decision by Soul. Kick the ball back out. See what kind of shot you can get in your offense.
Gerard knocked down 3 triples in the third quarter. She's got another.
That is such a good decision by Taylor Soul. A lot of leading scorers would get that shot back, get that rebound, and just try to force up another shot. But Soul kicks the ball out, then she gets the ball back, makes a great pass on the baseline, 1 extra pass, and Gerard knocks down a 3.
Mabry says, hey, we can do that too. Notre Dame, the best in the conference. In fact, the best, shooting it nearly 44% in conference play to lead all teams from 3.
And that's why I say shoot more of them. Notre Dame's only taken 7 threes today, but Dara Mabry is 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
Dickens is tapped out by Soul, but it will go to Notre Dame.
Dara Mabry, it's in her blood. She's a Mabry. She was born being able to shoot the ball. Look at this. Wide open look and a great pass from Maddie Westbeld. Westbeld now has 5 assists. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Taylor Soul finds Dickens. Great extra pass from Michaela Dickens. And Gerard with her 4th 3 of the afternoon.
Vaughn tried to go a little deeper inside. It was well defended that time by Boston College. And then Dickens says, hey, I feel like I can take this one myself. She does. She's fouled. And that will be number 3 against Vaughn.
Boston College is a very good free throw shooting team, 81% from the line. So this is not what Notre Dame wants to do down the stretch. You don't want to send BC to the free throw line if you don't have to.
Dickens, a 92% free throw shooter. Of course, that jinxed her. She misses the first.
Oh, Jen.
Remind you about Nothing But Net. It's every Sunday, our weekly men's basketball studio show. They'll preview the week, look back with highlights, analysis, and insight that only we can provide. This week's show is at 8 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. I think the pause here, we're getting word, is blood on someone's jersey that needs to be tended to.
I think it is.
Look at that
T-Soul again.
Look, she's getting her shoe tied right now, or her braids. Laura Ford, that is a good teammate.
What a great teammate. We're going to get the blood off of T-Soul's jersey. Clara Ford's going to tie the shoe. And now T-Soul with 2 different wraps today because she is fighting and clawing inside. Her stat line today, Jen, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the junior.
2 wrapped body parts.
Yeah, you can add that in there. I like that. Add that in there.
And a missed opportunity right there by Dickens, missing them both at the line.
I like our producer, Derek, pointing out that was all your fault.
Yes. Yeah, he totally did. Sell me out. And Mabry wasting no time as Notre Dame trying to have a much better memory of what a 4th quarter against Boston College can look like, trying to do it on their own floor this time. Good drive by Swartz. She'll try her hand at the free throw line.
Dara Mabry is a perfect 6 for 6 from the field today. She has yet to miss a shot. She is also 4 for 4 from the free throw line. If you can score 18 points on 6 shots, that is incredible efficiency from Dara Mabry.
If she misses, I'm blaming you, just FYI.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, she's been great. Wow, Boston College, as you said, I mean, they came into this game one of the best in the league. I mean, as a team, they shoot over 80% from the line. It's second best in the ACC. Swartz does get that one after 3 straight misses, 1 from her and 2 from Dickens.
And one of the most important reasons why you need to make your free throws is so BC can set up that full court pressure. Right now they're pressing off of a made free throw. And I know they're called for a foul there, but we've talked about it many times here on the broadcast today. The previous meeting between these two teams 10 days ago, BC applied a lot of pressure in the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame turned the ball over so much that they lost the game.
Now, Marnell Gerard did have to go to the bench right there, Kelly. That was her 4th, and she has proven she's one of the best three-point shooters for Boston College. Let's see if that changes the tone of things. And how long maybe she stays on the bench.
Right, not being in foul trouble, but Gerard is the only one, and that could be very costly for them down the stretch as Mabry misses her first shot of the day. Now we have both jinxed each team, Jen. I'm really glad that we're now to look
glad we got that I got that over with. And Vaughn, if that was on her, that's her 4th. So a little bit of foul trouble for both coaches to juggle here in quarter number 4.
That's big. It's really interesting to see how long these coaches are going to keep Gerard and Vaughn on the bench. But now Notre Dame playing a little smaller. Westbell is their 5. Brunel is their 4.
Good defensive work there by Peoples, forcing Boston College into the turnover. Five-point lead for Notre Dame. Good setup there for Peoples. How did that not go in?
It shows Peoples' versatility. She can bring the ball up the floor. She can post you up down low. It's impressive. Notre Dame needed that layup, though. Every single possession counts in a game like this down the stretch that has been so back and forth.
Tough shot there by Soule. Notre Dame looking to run. Walker beats everybody down the floor.
That is at least Notre Dame's 3rd three-point play in transition. Destinee Walker will have a chance to make it a three-point play, but they have had so many of those plays today. They get out in transition, make layups, and draw the foul. It's a huge momentum shifter for Notre Dame. It's been a big part of why they were able to get back in the game early and then maintain this lead in the second half.
Neil Ivey always talks about learning and growth as this season goes on, both for her and for her team. We'll see. Has Notre Dame their past experience with Boston College? And in fact, they nearly let a lead get away in the fourth quarter in their last game against Wake Forest. But Coach Ivey really praising their response after the game, that they were able to hang on. And it's an 8-1 run right now for Notre Dame in the fourth quarter.
Excellent box out on the other end by Westbeld. It is not easy to box out Taylor Soule, and Westbeld has done a pretty good job so far today.
Destinee Walker picked a pretty good time to knock down her first 3. She has 10 points in the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame has opened
job of finding the posts in advantageous situations. And not just the guards. Maddie Westbeld has 5 assists. She's been at that high post area. She's done a great job of finding her teammates.
Cameron Swartz, big 3 there. Boston College needs it. You can see how they've fared when their opponents have just eaten them up in the paint. It's been numbers kind of like what Notre Dame is doing.
61% from the field. We have seen 2 excellent shooting displays from both of these teams today.
Yeah, it's been a really good game, and Notre Dame trying to move up, came into this one at 6th place in the ACC standings, 4-3 in conference play. With a win, they would join NC State as the only 2 teams in the conference to get to 5 ACC wins so far, although Louisville on the verge of that potentially. Nice drive there by Westbeld. The Cardinals at 4-0 in conference play. They will play Florida State this afternoon, 3 o'clock on ESPN2.
I'm excited for that game. It replaced the Louisville-NC State game that is now rescheduled for February 1st on Big Monday. So we're still going to get to see both of those teams play. But we also have a good one, like you said, Louisville and Florida State today.
Yeah, looking forward to see what Florida State looks like as they come back after being on pause. They've had their last 3 games postponed. They have not played in the year 2021 yet. And they'll get to try to get things going at the number 2 ranked team in the country in a couple of hours. Dickens, a floater too strong. Tapped it away from Walker. Dickens got it back to Soul, and one more.
Huge momentum play right there. Boston College getting their hand on the ball on this Walker rebound. Walker, maybe a little bit of a flop, and a great job by Dickens to get the pass, and a no-look to Taylor Soul, who finishes with the and one. Taylor Soul now with 14 points, trying to make it 15.
Just a little extra sauce on that pass with a little no-look addition from Dickens to set up Soul. You said, Kelly, that for Boston College to have a chance, they were going to need some points from Taylor. And they're starting to add up a little bit more now. 15 for Soul.
BC is going to keep pressuring Notre Dame, but the issue with pressuring is when the other team breaks it quickly. If they get the ball to the middle and they break it quickly, often they're going to get an open look. And that is a tough chance to take with Notre Dame with how well they shoot the 3.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about their points in the paint, but the Irish are 50% from 3 in the game. They're 5 of 10, so they're doing some damage when they've chosen to from distance as well.
They are so selective with which threes they take. I probably couldn't be that selective because my eyes get so big when I see an open 3, but they are so mature picking which threes they shoot. 5 for 10. They shoot such a great percentage, and they make great decisions, especially when an open look like that in transition. That is money for Darren Mabry.
It was an offensive foul last time down the floor for Westbell. Jalen Batts standing tall, standing strong to draw the charge. Girard back on the floor. So playing with 4 fouls, Marnell Girard, but one of the top 3-point shooters for the Eagles. Soul turns around, saw some fresh air, and certainly hit that shot, but doesn't this time around.
With how well Boston College has been shooting the 3, they just need to play solid defense here. You don't necessarily need a turnover, but you do have to get a stop so you can get back on the other end and probably knock down a 3 spell with a dagger of a jumper there for Notre Dame.
The Irish have made their last 5 field goal attempts. Girard. Welcome back, Marnell.
Girard is on fire. She is doing her best Gina Conti impression this afternoon in Purcell Pavilion.
Oh, the no-look from Mabry to set up Walker.
And right now, Notre Dame and BC, they're really trading 3s for 2s, but because Notre Dame has that 9-point lead, the Irish can afford to do that right now. Boston College has to get some stops on the other end.
Girard can't get another offensive rebound from Swartz. Soul in traffic. Such a good, tenacious rebounder. Both she and Peoples really go after the ball so well. Held ball the call here, I believe. Possession Notre Dame.
We've seen some nice no-look passes in this 4th quarter. Darren Mabry, her eyes are looking at Brunel, but the ball goes to Destinee Walker. That is nice from Mabry.
See exactly what the call is. Thought it was Notre Dame basketball, but looks like a foul was called on the play against Peoples, and so that will put Soul on the free throw line.
That seemed like it was just a tie-up that ended up with both players on the floor, but And again, it's tough because we are not in the building. It seems like there was a little bit of a late call there, Jen.
Soule trying to take advantage, can't on the first attempt.
We've talked so much about BC and how well they shoot free throws, but 4 for 9 today from the line. They would love to have those 5 points back right now, and now 6.
Just when the Eagles start to click a little bit better offensively. I mean, they have really struggled shooting the basketball, especially in conference play, but they were shooting well today, both overall and also from 3, 42% from the field. They're over 54% from 3. And now their free throws are letting them down.
It's not what you expect from Boston College to shoot it poorly from the free throw line, but I do think BC can take a lot of confidence from how they shot the 3 today. 12 for 22. That's going to win you a lot of basketball games in the future if you can shoot the 3 like that.
And now what do you do? I mean, if there was supposed to be a foul at some point in that sequence, it never happened. Vaughn gets 2.
Let's give a lot of credit here to Notre Dame, because just 10 days ago, when Boston College started to apply pressure in the fourth quarter, Notre Dame fell apart. But they have handled the press a lot better in this matchup between Mabry, Peoples. Westfeld's been handling the ball for them. Destinee Walker. You've got to think that Coach Ivey and the Irish have worked on their press break a lot over the last 10 days, and that is really showing today for the Irish. You can see that tangible improvement.
Peoples a little slow to get up after she slid, trying to get into the passing lane. Double-double for Peoples, almost. She's a point away. She has 11 rebounds, 9 points in the game. And she'll hobble over. By the way, Notre Dame's still without Caitlin Gilbert. She's still hobbled and in a boot, so they're going to have to go a little longer without her. She'll be a nice addition whenever she comes back. Well, let's see if they have any last-second swag in their arsenal. Looked like Swartz maybe was trying to foul Westfeld, but right now, Boston College just playing defense. Not looking to put Notre Dame on the line. Walker, boy, she has had a big fourth quarter. She's been a big part of this strong finish for Notre Dame. Destinee Walker had just 4 points in the first half, 12 in quarter number 4.
Destinee Walker is definitely a leader right now in the league for 6th Woman of the Year. Coach Ivey likes bringing her off the bench. She was their leading scorer last year. She's averaging nearly 13 points per game this year. And Coach Ivey mentioned that's something that she saw at the NBA level. You see at the NBA level, they're going to bring some really good scorers off the bench to have that 6th man or 6th woman effect. And Notre Dame is getting that from Destinee Walker this year.
I think Boston College will have a lot of positives to take out of this game. Marnell Girard has a career high 6 3-pointers made, just not quite enough to overcome what was a really strong finish, Kelly, by the Irish in this one. Get a little revenge.
This was a fun basketball game from both sides. Both teams shot the ball incredibly well. BC 54% from 3. Notre Dame 61% from the field. Incredibly